Hey, what's going on YouTube Street Fighter community, newcomers and veterans alike? This is Jinsei with another video of what's lost in modern controls. We got the last two down the pipeline. We got Zangief and we got Dalsum. And of course we have Zangief right in front of us, the Red Cyclone, the Russian wrestler, Russian grappler. Very frustrating character to go against as a beginner. Command throws being untechable, you know, and unless you know what you're looking for, unavoidable. It's definitely a frustrating thing. I've always been a fan of Zangief regardless of how frustrated I tend to get in the matchups in my early days of fighting games, but you know, shout out to my girl PJ in the local scene. Of course, all the pro Zangiefs that people tend to enjoy, Snake Eyes, Itabashi, Zangief are always the big two that come to mind. You know, we've got new blood like Kishipa, and other players of that nature, but we'll go on and get started. Start off as always with special, standing, special, neutral, not pressing any directions. We got heavy SPD. With this being a command throw, I did that one by accident. We do have access to all his command throws in normal inputs. Let me give you my own personal opinion on the special right now. It's nice to have. The damage is great for one button, like kind of taps and just walk-ups. I mean, forward and special doesn't even have an input, so you can literally just walk forward and hit it. The damage is great. 2640 is nothing to sneeze at, but I mean, it's 140 more than light SPD. Mediums and heavies still do more. So it's definitely, you know, usual compromise. Starting off with less damage is usually the takeaway for doing them quickly. But it's heavy. I mean, the range ain't great. The range is not a great range for a command throw versus the light. I would definitely say maybe getting used to the spinning pile driver motion just so you can get the distance of light. You know, sacrifice a little bit of the damage, but you get much better range on the throw. I mean, obviously with EXs they always tend to have more range. But yeah, 2720, it barely does more damage than the normal and still does less than the medium. So it's a huge hit on the #1 scare that Zangief has against new players. Down special we have his lariat. This is also here as a normal input. It's 2 buttons, so medium and heavy. You know, in classic it's just 2 punches, and then EX same thing. It's all 3 strengths. Good anti-air. It doesn't hit from behind anymore like it did in past games, so I think that's a bit of a weird change. Maybe Capcom will kind of backtrack and let that happen. There has been times even when I play Zangief casually with buddies. I mean, I was even playing with my brother last night, and kind of that thing where Lariat got jumped over and they beat it clean. It didn't hit, and it didn't hit from behind, so it kind of sucks that that property's gone. Hopefully it's fixed. And last but not least, we have back special. Excuse me. There's 2 different variations of this. This is Siberian Express. This one's done from a specific distance. Corner, you know, pretty nice little forward momentum, good damage, and you stay on the same side. Now we have the Russian suplexes, the double suplex, the double Germans. This is more of a much more bigger corner carry, but it does side swap. But this is also the one that tends to be a bit faster in terms of being able to drive rush cancel. So much more easier pressure. All these special moves are available as inputs as well. You know, like there's no input overlap. So there's no worries about losing a special move here. Other special moves that Zangief does have, he does have Thunderstorm. It's a counter. It's down, and heavy. This beats like very, I was grabbing the pad, sorry. Very specific normals, which is really weird. It's very active. Usually a horizontal kicks is what it catches. It is a counter. It's nice. Not something you'll be throwing out very often unless someone keeps constantly harassing you with pokes. But yeah, not a super crazy good move. Jumping normals, pretty much all his lights are here. Jumping light, jumping medium, jumping roundhouse. This one tends to pull in Zangief's hurt box a little bit, so it's a little bit harder to anti-air him when he does this because he kind of leans back a bit. Jumping medium kick is a great normal to kind of jump in with. You know, do things like that kind of instant overhead kind of stuff if they're not stand blocking, especially on the big characters. Jumping roundhouse is here. This one's here for the sake of the new charge that he has for it. Will cause like a full screen bounce. We do still have body splash as well. That's going to be down and heavy. So that cross up is still there for Gief. So he's more or less untouched on that case. In terms of the air, he also does have his air SPD. His Borscht Dynamite is what it's called. So air SPD is still here. So it's good that he has that. Light normals now. Standing light's going to be standing light punch. Crouching light crouching light's going to be crouching light kick. And machine gunning it is the light. It's a shame that he loses this light because this is a 3 frame. This is one of the very few 3 frames in the game. So Gief is one of those characters where -3 tends to be the magic number in this game in terms of safety. With Street Fighter 5, it was -2 was that magic number where you weren't at advantage, but you couldn't be punished for that. So it's a shame he loses the crouching light kick. And holding down auto is going to give us light kick. Standing light kick. This is special cancelable too, so if you're like kind of just fishing for pokes, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, you really only get this and maybe throw a gimmick in there with the grab. But his lights are intact. Mediums now, we got standing medium punch. This is a target combo. It's a triple chop. This is only comboable on a counter hit or a drive rush. Crouching medium punch is here as well, which is great because this is drive rush cancelable. Down forward medium is this throat chop. It's a very quick move for combo purposes usually, like something like that. It's a little bit harder to do without crouching jab in my opinion. I do crouching jab at least, so something like that. Where we still have that, which is great. Forward medium is going to be his knee hop. This is forward medium kick in classic. So that's kind of a way to just kind of close that gap. Kind of get people by surprise in terms of like SPDs. It does it looks like it does extend their range a little bit, but not like a crazy amount. But it does tend to catch people by surprise. You know, they're unsure what's going to happen, so they try to jump or try to poke, and then it ends up missing somehow, and you throw. And that's really, oh, the auto one, that's right. It's still crouching medium. You lose crouching medium kick, which is a shame, because that's kind of like that nice little button where if you are like kind of doing just the ground game here and throwing this out every once in a while, just to kind of, you know, pick your damage in, throw it in with sweep and things like that. They tend to look the same. Obviously, it's different. You know, if he's facing you with his chest, it's medium. If he's turning his back, it's roundhouse or the sweep. It's a shame he loses that. It's a nice like poking tool. I mean, that's what Gief wants to do. Not only whittle you down with command throws, he wants to whittle you down with normals and slowly push you to the corner so you can start playing his pressure game. It's a shame he loses that. For the heavies, standing heavy, this is a chargeable move. I believe it gives you a little bit more damage, a little bit more advantage, but it also has armor, like one-hit armor. So it's definitely handy for that. Crouching heavy is going to be his crouching fierce. I kind of really hate this move. I'm not sure how useful it is to catch people out of the air. Usually when in the very few times that I've used that move, I'm always a lariat guy. But that crouching fierce has whiffed on me more times than I can count. So it's not I don't think it's a great button unless I'm missing something. I'm missing the juice. Down forward obviously is going to be a sweep. Last, we do have his last command normal, which is forward fierce. His last command normal in modern, at least. You know, special cancelable in his level 2. So it's definitely a nice button to have, especially like on block. This thing is +4, which means like on drive rushes, if you rush it and just do this, it's freaking +8 on block. So it's a very, very scary button. And the last command normal I want to go over that he actually does not have. There's actually a couple of them, so not last one. So I'm going to put the stick down for a second. I want to grab the pad. So Gief does lose not only the crouching medium kick, but he loses 2 command normals that he has that are new to the game. So there's down medium kick. There are these rushing kicks. It's a target combo kind of thing. The only noticeable thing about this is that this is +4. So you can probably, you can do something like doing that and... Oh my god, that's not 3 frames, that's 6 frames. I'm so sorry. It's mashing it is faster, but... Yeah, this is +4 on hit. I don't find a use for it. But I mean, plus 8 at that point, but that's a different story. And the other one that he does lose is forward roundhouse. This is an overhead for him, so it's a new move for Geef. But he loses that as well. I mean, that's usually, it's very situational for combos. I don't know if it blows over things when he's in the air. But he does lose those normals, which is a shame. It just sucks that he has 2 new moves and you can't really play around with them, even though they're kind of situational. But that's what Geef ends up losing in modern. I still think he's a pretty good like powerhouse, but you know, my judgment based on him is just his special moves, which the damage loss on SPD is not worth it in my opinion. It's great to have it as a one press, but I mean, when your EX version, you know, does 3400 normally, and the EX on the auto does 2720 when medium does 2800 or 2900, I mean, the numbers are staggeringly staggering to the point where it's definitely worth learning how to do the screwed pile driver motion, just so you get, you know, like I mentioned, you get the range of the light SPD and the scare. I mean, just doing this and kind of just throwing out like 2500 damage like in every situation that you possibly can, and then once you have them cornered, that's when you start playing like throwing in the heavies, throwing in the mediums, throwing in the EXs and their kind of ridiculous range, and getting all that big damage. That'll do it for Geef. Sim is last. Sim is up next, and then we'll go over who's better off and who isn't. Dawson might take me a little bit of time. I'm not much of a Dawson player, so I do have to kind of look through that list and see what he does and does not get. He tends to have a lot of command normals. So we'll see you guys at that last character video, and then the tier list, and then in the future we'll go over the other characters that and the future DLC characters with Rashid, Akuma, Ed, and Aki coming out. So yeah, we'll see you then. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment for any feedback, any misinformation I might have missed. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to subscribe. You know, not a necessity. I'm not gonna be. YouTube's not my job. YouTube's just something I like to do. But yeah, you guys take care. Have a good day. Have a good evening. Have a good night. Wherever it is in the world.